Learning Arena, the constructed handicap. Blizzard's entertainment Heroes of Warcraft is a digital collectible card game that on the surface runs like one fluid and easy to learn game. The genius, however, is that within the two modes, constructed and arena, mastery of one does not mean mastery of another. Many players learn constructed and jump into arena, hoping to repeat whatever success they've achieved due to having knowledge and concepts of the overall game. However, even though the popular play mode constructed gives you some of the principles required for basic Hearthstone arena play, it also creates a form of handicap with concepts and mentalities that, even though work in constructed, have absolutely no bearing in arena. Let's get started. Point number 1. The constant fear of removal. I've noticed a lot of constructed players that learn arena, draft, and play with the notion that there is always going to be removal for your minions. That is absolutely not the case. At the very beginning of arena, there was no expansions or adventure modes, and as such, less cards. In the classic and expert set, there's 378 collectible cards, with only 2 to 3 cards per class being the premium removal commonly seen in constructed. As expansions have been added, the number of overall cards have dramatically increased, while the number of premium removal spells have stayed roughly the same, making the availability of premium spells commonly seen in constructed a lot less common in the growing card variety of arena. Point number 2. The reduced value of big minions and big taunts. I have seen a lot of players ignore great picks like Force Tank, Ironbark Protector, or even Boulderfist Ogre. These cards are not played in constructed because they are just too slow without an immediate effect in the constructed metagame. When those cards are played, many viewers either ignore them or deal with them easily with all the premium removal spells in a standard constructor deck, and it causes players to value them less in arena over more stable constructed picks. There are times where a Force Tank outvalues a Chillwind Yeti in a draft, but is not even considered due to the minion being labeled as slow in the constructed metagame. Point 3. The inflated card values of signature constructed cards. Just with cards being valued lower in their position in constructed, there are cards also ranked a lot higher than necessary due to how prevalent they are in constructed. The most glaring card being Sludge Belcher. Curve, what the deck is trying to accomplish, and playstyle is all very important and can fluctuate per draft, but I have seen this card argued as the best pick regardless of any other factors besides how common it is seen in constructed. Other examples of inflated cards are combo cards that do not do much for board state by itself, such as Circle of Healing or Reincarnate, and premium removal spells such as Polymorph. Having 4 or more polymorphs in your hand is an easy ticket to Loseville. Point number 4. An inability to adapt styles and understand the why of card picks and plays. I have heard commonly from constructed players that once a deck is drafted, the deck plays itself. The best arena players understand that a draft can and will affect the style that a deck is played. A deck with a high curve and lots of AoE is not going to be played the same as a deck with a low curve and lots of face damage. If you decide to learn from Infinite Arena players and you want to emulate their success, it is very useful to completely understand their style to the point where you can argue for them why they would pick a card they did and why they made the plays that they did. Understanding the why behind their actions is critical for replicating their results. Once you understand each and every pick that you make in an arena draft, you will be able to grow as an arena player and most likely as a constructed player as well. Point number 5. Disregard that board state is key in Arena. I've seen a lot of constructed players wanting to go face when there is an opponent's minion on the board. When your opponent has a minion on the board, it is really helpful to think, what is the worst possible outcome your opponent can make utilizing a high valued commons and rares from the neutral and class choices. If the play considered is even semi-reasonable, it is extremely encouraged to trade. In Arena, the state of the board is the most important indicator of who is in control, and if you can trade to reduce the options your opponent has for his next turn, you increase that likelihood that he does not take control with common cards such as Dark Iron Dwarf, Shattered Sun, Cleric, or Blessing of Kings. And my final point, Infinite Arena is the legend rank of Arena. Just like reaching legend in constructed, reaching infinite in Arena requires some luck, some skill, and a lot of dedication. I've seen a lot of constructed players giving up on Arena because they feel it's harder to control and difficult to predict the type of decks that result through drafting and the type of outcomes those decks will create. I want to remind each and every one of you watching this that there are players out there, YouTubers and streamers, showcasing that you can find a stability in Arena just like in constructed. Great players do show up in both fields, and it's up to you not to give up and to succeed. Everyone fails, but it is the people who never give up who become greatness. If you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends trying to learn Arena, and I hope all of you humans enjoyed it. Have a nice day.
What's wrong with some of y'all? You so gifted. You so gifted, that's your problem. Your giftedness is gonna kill you. Because while you gifted, what you gotta understand is gift will only take you so far. You gotta have heart to win a championship.